Hey buddies, Miss Pugly here, coming at you another Borderlands 3 video. Today we're going to be covering the hotfix that just came out today and the new vault card that came out today. Very exciting stuff. But first I want to talk about the hidden nerfs and how much each gun was actually buffed this hot patch, because for some reason Gearbox doesn't tell us the actual buff and nerf values of all our weapons. But before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You have no idea how much it helps me out, and let's get into it. I want to let everyone know that we're working on something really big and we're really excited to show you. It's actually really huge, but we can't tell you what it is right now, but get excited. So first things first, let's talk about the buffs. So there was 5 weapons that was buffed. There was Embrace the Pain, Chandelier, Echo, Hive, and Deathgrip. Now, I'm most excited for Deathgrip because Deathgrip is a really cool gun. You'll see later. It does a lot of cool things, but it's usually not good. Maybe it's good now. I don't feel like the buff was good enough, but let's first talk about the first weapon, Pain is Power, or Embrace the Pain. Embrace the Pain actually got a 200% increase on damage. At first it was 5k, now it's 13k. It does a lot more damage now, and the damage it deals is really awesome. Unfortunately for it is when you overheat with it, it does actually down you. It does a lot of damage to you really quickly, so that is a one downside with this gun. It does do really good damage if you want to work around that. Perhaps if you had lifesteal with Moze, you could get around it, but the damage does tick down really fast. Next we have Chandelier. The Chandelier is actually buffed by only 20%, which is very disappointing because the gun damage it deals before wasn't that great, and the damage it does right now isn't too good either. So it's a shotgun that charges and then shoots ricocheting shots, as you see here. Let me get it to ricochet real quick. And it can actually bounce back and kill you, which is very unfortunate. But besides that, it's a pretty cool gun. I wouldn't be surprised to see if some people started trying it, but it's not really that good of a gun, I would say, to be an instant put in a lot of builds, and it's only a 20% increase on damage. Next we have Echo. Echo is actually buffed by 100%. Echo is actually a really good gun. I don't know if it was really that good before since I didn't really use it, but it does this amazing effect. When you hit an enemy, it puts landmines in the enemies that also explode 3 times, and it's actually really phenomenal Flak because of his fadeaway ability. The mines that get left behind deal a lot of damage after you crit with them with fadeaway, and it's just really impressive how much damage it deals. And if you were to hit the sticky mines on the head, those explosions will crit as well, so that's very cool if you're looking for that. I'm not sure if the explosions can proc a crit on Flak's Megavore ability, but I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments. Next we have the Hive rocket launcher. The Hive rocket launcher is actually buffed by 133%, so it shoots a little ball, and that ball kind of acts like a hive, hence the name Hive, and then it shoots little yellow projectiles that are supposed to be reminiscent of bees, and those home in on enemies and deal a lot of damage. And since the damage was buffed by 133%, I could see this being used in a lot of builds, maybe with URAD, definitely with Moze. The damage it deals is actually really good now that it got buffed, and you could definitely combo with Flak because of his fadeaway and stuff. All this rocket launcher's hits actually crit, which would be really cool. And then finally, the shotgun that I'm most excited for is Deathgrip. So Deathgrip has 2 abilities. It shoots normally like that and does these awesome looking chain lightning effects that you cannot actually be damaged by. So if you were to run through it, like I'm going to show you right now, you don't get damaged by it, which is really nice. And then on top of that, we have a alt fire that basically just does a singularity. The purpose of the singularity is to draw enemies into the chain lightning it spawns, which is really cool. Now, this gun was actually buffed by 100% total weapon damage, which is really good. I've seen it melt a couple of enemies as I tried it, but the damage could be better. It's a really cool shotgun that I wish was a lot better because of it. Maybe if the projectiles actually kept going out and created like more and more chain lightnings, but I could definitely see someone using it and killing enemies really quickly if they use it correctly, because we've had weird circumstances like with the Red Queen. It chained onto the enemy and then constantly procced its grenade damage and killed him instantly. Perhaps we could get something like that with this. And now let's move on to the nerfs. There was actually a little line in the patch notes. It said updated previous hot notes for various hand cannons, the Carson weapon, the DNA weapon, and some of these were nerfed. Some of them were actually buffed, which is a bit weird, I feel like, because that line kind of makes it seem like all of them would be nerfed, but I guess not. And then along with those, there's actually some weapons that have been reported so far that have been nerfed that aren't part of that list, like that aren't hand cannons and aren't the Carson and DNA, which I feel is really weird. So let's first go to the King's Call. The King's Call got a massive hit of 52% nerf to damage, which is really ridiculous. The damage it deals is usually really good, but that's more than 2 times less damage, which is really unfortunate because the King Call wasn't even that phenomenal. I would say it was pretty much only used for Flaks or like the occasional crit build, but now it's nerfed into the ground. I could perhaps only see it on Flak now, but it's really disappointing. And then the next gun that was nerfed was the Hellwalker. The Hellwalker was actually nerfed by a massive 75%, which is a bit weird. I feel like a lot of these nerfs are a little bit unnecessary. Like the Hellwalker, I don't feel like was reigning supreme. Sure, the Hellwalker was used by a lot of people and it was constantly posted on like the Reddit forum saying like, oh, is this Hellwalker's good? Obviously it had some fame and fortune, but I don't feel like it deserved to be nerfed by 75%. That's kind of ridiculous. And then the next weapon that was nerfed, I actually don't have it on my character. It was the Breath of the Dying. Breath of the Dying was nerfed by 55%, which is, I feel like, was once again unnecessary. I don't feel like Breath of the Dying was good enough to be nerfed. I felt like it had a good place in the meta. And then we have a hotfix that is actually reverted by accident, more than likely by accident, by Gearbox by the name of Lucien's Call. Once again, I don't have this on my character, but Lucien's Call was actually buffed a couple months ago by 135%. That buff is no longer appearing on the weapon, which is very unfortunate because the weapon was really good. Now it's back to how it used to be and not good anymore. So they'll probably fix that in a later patch because I don't feel like that was intentional. And then weirdly enough, the DNA gun was actually nerfed by its magazine size, the only one in this category that was nerfed by just magazine size by 66%. I believe originally it was 36 magazine size, but now it's only 12. Once again, another nerf I feel like was unwarranted. I don't feel like the DNA gun was that good, but maybe I was wrong. I never used it personally. And then finally, the Carson gun. The Carson gun was buffed by 20%, which is good because, you know, it's a good weapon. I don't feel like it was too overpowered, but it feels weird that out of all these weapons that this one was buffed and the other ones were nerfed, but hey, whatever. Now let's move on to the vault card. So the vault card, we got a lot of cool things, a lot of references from Tales from the Borderlands, which is a Borderlands entry from the Telltale developers. Telltale being well known for its story games. The Borderlands game is actually really, really cool. We got one character here for Amara by the name of Sasha. She was the kind of like the sidekick to Fiona on the early chapters. She was like one of the thieves with Fiona. She's considered the main character on the wiki, but I don't honestly remember her too much. And then we have Flak, which is this mysterious masked man. So this mysterious masked man is actually a spoiler, so I'm not going to say who this character actually is, just in case you guys still want to play Tales from the Borderlands, but this character is actually a character from Borderlands 2. You probably won't recognize him from just by looking at him, but let's move on to the next character Zane has. So Zane is actually Shade. Shade was from Tales from the Borderlands. More recognizably, he was from the DLC from Borderlands 2, the pirate DLC, where you were using the pirate ships as your main form of transportation, and he was the guy that had all those imaginary friends that were all dead. So it's really cool to see him finally have a head as Zane. I feel like this head is really nice. It might be the best head in the set. And then finally we have Moze, which looks really, really nice. Moze is actually Fiona, which is the main character next to Reese. In the game, you would either play as Reese or Fiona, and Fiona had this cool action skill that pulled a little handgun from underneath her wrist and would shoot it like a little tiny gun, and you would have to choose which element usually you're shooting from the gun. So I feel like Fiona was a cool character in that. And then right here, you can barely see it, we have an echo skin that's actually a reference to Gordy, which was the little spherical robot character that followed you around after you unlock him in the story. He's a really cute character, and I feel like it's really cool that we got a little reference to him as an echo skin. It would have been cooler if we got like a trinket, but hey, it's fine. And then of course we got 4 new legendaries. We got a grenade, a artifact, 2 SMGs, and I don't want to spoil it, but one of these SMGs is actually broken. I have a video showcasing on the top right if you want to click up there to see actually the showcase for all these weapons, but especially this one SMG. It's absolutely crazy. I cannot wait for you guys to see what it is, so don't forget to click up there. And I want to hear how you guys feel about these buffs and nerfs. Do you feel like some of these were unwarranted? Do you feel like some of these were necessary to kind of fix the meta or the balancing in the game, or some of these weapons you're excited to finally see buffed, like for me, the Hive gun. But that's pretty much it for the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.
And the last shall be first to immerse in a pass out heat, facing him up with a moxie melt till he woke up drowning in tchotchke hell. More in a cave with a torch on a wall than a window arrangement of porcelain dolls.